Hey, Paz.
Hello, Jeff.
Alrighty, so later this summer, we will have party primaries, and in the fall, we'll have general elections. But I think all of this presumes that people have a general understanding of how candidates actually get to those processes to begin with. What's the first step, Paz, when it comes to, say, you want to be a candidate? What's the first step, and where are we in that?
For much of a year before a convention, candidates, let's say the gubernatorial race, because that's big this year, it's an open seat. Candidates are out campaigning, really trying to just talk to delegates to the state conventions. And if you're a Republican, that means on a wintry night in January, you may be driving out to the Litchfield Hills to talk to a dozen Republican town committee members in Salisbury.
So there's a lot of groveling on the front end.
There's a lot of groveling. And the weird part is it's all about dealing with this universe of potential delegates, because one of the twists here is they're not 100% sure of who these delegates will be, because they're not finalized until the first week of April.
But let's back up. This is people going to town committees, which are the sort of local party organizations. We have them in most towns. In every town?
In every town.
In every town.
And they are an important part of this ecosystem.
So here we are in the springtime. Politicians, long before it comes to voters, politicians who have aspirations to be on a ballot this late summer and fall, they're jockeying now not for the average voter, but for the inside nod of the party.
That's a very fair description. So these delegates, or potential delegates, if they're finally chosen, they show up at the state convention having kicked the tires, having looked these people in the eye, asked them questions, and developing a feel for whether or not, they should be their party's nominee for governor, for example.
This year we've got a lot of contested seats, potentially. How scrappy do you anticipate these political conventions to be this spring?
So the state convention, you got to get 15% on any ballot that's cast, and you can qualify for a primary. You got to do the math. So who can emerge from a state convention and qualify for a primary? Somebody's going to get 50% plus one, and they will have the endorsement coming out of the convention. So that leaves how many people can get 15% with the remaining 49% or so. And that comes down to basically three people. Now, you can have vote switching at the end of a roll call vote. For strategic reasons, the person leading, who might have 50%, might want in a primary he might decide he or she is better off with a crowded field, so he may help other people get to 15%. This year, particularly on the Republican side, it's unclear if they will be able to get anyone to 50% on the first ballot. Decisions will be made here. Delegates can change their mind. Delegates do not show up legally committed or bound in any way to a candidate.
I'm not an expert in politics and public policy, but Mark Pazniokis is, and that's what he covers at the Connecticut Mirror. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thank you, Jeff.
You can read all of Mark's work at ctmirror.org.